My sister-in-law Melissa's laughter cut through the room, sharp and cruel, echoing around my father-in-law's living room. She held up the little gift I'd given her, a simple $20 photo frame for the entire family to see. "Is this some kind of joke?" she sneered, her voice just dripping with contempt. "What am I supposed to do with this?" She was so sure she had already won. She acted as if her father's entire fortune was already hers and reading the will was just a formality. What Melissa didn't know was that in a few weeks, the family's quiet lawyer, Mr. Davison, was about to reveal a secret that wouldn't just crush her arrogance, but would change everything for all of us. If you love stories about karma, justice, and watching entitled people get what's coming to them, do yourself a favor and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. You really won't want to miss how this all went down. To really get why things exploded, you have to understand the family dynamic. My husband, Mark, was the quiet son. He was steady, kind, and had a heart of gold, just like his dad, Richard. And then there was Melissa. From the second I joined the family, it was obvious Melissa saw herself as the crown jewel. She was loud, materialistic, and had an air of entitlement so thick you could practically feel it suck the air out of a room. Their father, Richard, was a self-made man who built his success from nothing. He was humble, wise, and cared way more about character than charisma. He and I got along great. We'd spend hours in his garden, talking about life, his wife who'd passed years ago, and his hopes for the family. In those quiet moments, he'd sometimes sigh and get this far-off look in his eyes. He never said it out loud, but I knew Melissa's obsession with money worried him deeply. As Richard's health started to decline, Melissa's behavior got so much worse. Every family dinner turned into her personal stage to map out her plans for the estate. She'd casually mention which heirloom she'd already called dibs on, how she was going to gut the family home, and how much she was expecting to get. It was just shameless. Mark and I would just sit there, biting our tongues because we didn't want to stress out his sick father. We knew Richard's last days needed to be peaceful, not filled with fights over money. But Melissa's greed was like a storm cloud just getting darker by the day. The real spark, the moment it all just broke, happened at Richard's 75th and final birthday party. We all knew he didn't have much time left, and the air was heavy with goodbyes we weren't ready to say. Mark and I had spent weeks trying to find the perfect gift. We didn't have a lot of money, but we wanted it to be meaningful. We finally found it, a beautiful, simple digital photo frame. It was only $20, but we loaded it with hundreds of pictures from his entire life, from his wedding day to the day his grandkids were born. A whole lifetime of memories in one little frame. When Richard opened it, his eyes filled with tears. He hugged it to his chest and whispered, "This is the best gift I've ever received." Later that night, it was Melissa's turn. She ripped through expensive perfumes and designer bags with a polite, but obviously bored look on her face. Then she opened our gift. It was another photo frame, just like her dad's, with a picture of her and Richard from when she was a little girl. We thought it would be a sweet, sentimental gesture. We were so wrong. She just stared at it, her face twisting up in disgust. And then she laughed, not a chuckle, but a loud, theatrical laugh meant to mock us. "A $20 photo frame?" She barked out for everyone to hear. "Seriously? Are you guys broke or something?" The room went silent. I could feel my face flush with humiliation. She held it up, dangling it between two fingers like it was garbage. "I guess I'll just re-gift this to the cleaning lady," she said with a flick of her wrist. Richard, who was sitting quietly in his chair, just looked at his daughter. He didn't say a single word, but the look on his face was one of deep, total disappointment. He just slowly shook his head, and I felt it right then. A shift, a decision had just been made. Richard passed away 3 weeks later. The grief was overwhelming, but Melissa didn't waste a second. She immediately started acting like she owned the place, calling real estate agents to appraise the house and auctioneers to value the art. She treated Mark and me like we were just obstacles in her way. "Don't get too comfortable here," she told us one afternoon while we were sorting through Richard's old books. "Once the will is read and everything is legally mine, I'm selling this place. It's a teardown, really." Her cruelty was stunning. She was talking about her father's home, a place filled with a lifetime of love, as if it were just a number on a balance sheet. We finally got the formal letter from Richard's lawyer, Mr. Davison, setting the date for the will reading. Melissa was thrilled. "Finally," she announced. "Time to get what I'm owed." She was so confident, so absolutely sure of herself. She never saw the freight train that was about to run her over. We all met in Mr. Davison's formal, wood-paneled office. It was me, Mark, and a beaming Melissa, who honestly looked like she'd just won the Powerball. Mr. Davison, a man with kind eyes but a no-nonsense vibe, sat behind his massive desk and opened the will. He started with a few small gifts to old friends and distant cousins. Melissa was tapping her foot, getting impatient. Then, Mr. Davison took a breath. "Now, regarding my daughter, Melissa Sterling," he began. Melissa leaned in, a smug grin plastered on her face. "I acknowledge my daughter, Melissa. 10 years ago, she asked for and I gave her the sum of $100,000 as an advance on her inheritance to start a business, which she promptly drove into the ground. She signed a legal document at the time acknowledging this money was an advance." Melissa's smile vanished, her face went white. "What? No, that was a gift," she sputtered. Mr. Davison just kept reading. "Given this advance, and considering her recent behavior, which has shown a complete lack of respect for family and an insatiable greed, it is my final wish that her total and final inheritance shall be $5,000. The only sound in the room was Melissa sucking in a sharp breath. Her eyes darted from the lawyer to us, wide with disbelief. $5,000? That's it? The house? The stocks? Where is everything else going?" she demanded. And that's when Mr. Davison set down the will and picked up a much thicker stack of papers. "Richard was a very wise man, Melissa," he said calmly. "He saw this coming. The vast majority of his assets, the house, the investment portfolio, everything isn't in the will. Years ago, he placed it all into a private, irrevocable trust." Melissa just stared at him, totally lost. "A trust? Who controls it? Who's the trustee?" Mr. Davison looked right at me. "The Richard Sterling Family Trust names one person, and only one person, as the sole trustee, with full power to manage and distribute all assets as she sees fit. And that person is my daughter-in-law, Sarah." If the room was quiet before, it was a vacuum now. Melissa's jaw hit the floor. Her head snapped toward me, her face a tornado of confusion, rage, and betrayal. "Her?" she shrieked. "The one who bought me a $20 gift? Why her?" Mr. Davison picked up one last letter, handwritten by Richard himself, and read it out loud. "My dear family," it began. "If this is being read, it means my biggest fears came true. A family's legacy isn't measured in dollars, but in character. For years, I watched one child chase money, while the other and the wonderful woman he married chased happiness, kindness, and family. I love both my children, but I can only trust one of them to be the steward of my life's work. I trust Sarah. I trust her to take care of my son, to honor my memory, and to use these resources for good, not for greed. Her simple, heartfelt gift on my last birthday was just the final proof of what I already knew. She understands what truly matters." Melissa completely fell apart. She screamed. She cried. She called me names I won't repeat here. She threatened to sue, to contest the will, to burn it all to the ground. Mr. Davison didn't even flinch. "Melissa," he said, his voice firm but not mean. "You can try, but the trust is ironclad. Your father's competency was well documented. On top of that, you signed a legal document acknowledging a $100,000 inheritance advance. Any court will see exactly what your father intended. A legal fight will cost you a fortune, destroy you emotionally, and in my professional opinion, you have almost no chance of winning." Her fight was over before it even started. She had built her entire identity around the money she was expecting, and it was all gone in an instant. She stormed out of the office, shouting nonsense as she left. That was the last time we ever saw her. It's been a year now and life is quiet. With Mr. Davison's help, I've taken my role as trustee very seriously. Mark and I are comfortable, but we still live our same simple life in our same small house. Richard's home, the one Melissa called a teardown, we kept in the family. It's now a place for holidays, for connection, a place for love, just like he wanted. We also started a charitable foundation in Richard's name. It gives scholarships to underprivileged kids who want to go to trade schools, something he was always passionate about. The money is finally doing some real good in the world. Sometimes I think about that $20 photo frame. It wasn't the gift that got me an inheritance. It was a symbol of a different way of looking at the world, a way that Richard saw and ultimately rewarded. Melissa saw a cheap piece of plastic. Richard saw a heart full of memories. In the end, he just left his fortune to the one person who knew what it was really worth. What would you have done in my situation? Do you think my father-in-law did the right thing? I'd love to know what you think in the comments. It's been a crazy ride, but it taught me that real wealth isn't about what's in your bank account. It's about the love you share and the person you are. Justice was served, not because I was looking for revenge, but because a wise old man saw the truth all along and made a plan. Thanks for listening.